So today's video is all about comparing Sarasota to St. Augustine. People always ask about different cities throughout Florida, so I thought this would be a great example of the differences between the two coasts. And in so doing, I actually invited a friend to join us today. Kim Devlin sells, lives, works in St. Augustine, and so I'm going to invite her to join us, and we're going to talk about the differences. Welcome, Kim.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
I'm so excited to have you on this video because, people are always, when they come to Florida and retire here or second home here, think they know where they want to be, or they think, where should I be? And St. Augustine is so popular and so charming, and people talk about it all the time. So let's just compare the difference between the two. You want to tell a little bit about yourself and St. Augustine to get started?
Absolutely. So this is a great video because I do get a lot of people that were, when they're looking in St. Augustine, especially when we had the influx of people moving to Florida, they were like, well, I'm looking at St. Augustine, I'm looking at Sarasota. And I had never been to Sarasota, so I just assumed they were very similar. Now, I was in Sarasota last week, so now I know that they're not similar at all, and they're actually quite different. But as far as St. Augustine goes, yeah, I love it here. It's extremely, laid back. It's a city of St. Augustine, but it's very small town feeling. We've got, the beaches and, different beach areas and stuff, but definitely different than Sarasota. Absolutely.
We will definitely get into that. So what is the population of St. Augustine?
So St. Augustine's small. So
Yeah.
if you came to visit, the city of St. Augustine is maybe like 14,000 people.
Okay.
So I sell the county, and it's the fastest growing county,
Yeah.
I think in the state, to be honest. So because there was a lot of land that wasn't built on. So now we're getting all those master plan communities and all that. So the population is just growing in the county.
So if have so much land over there that they're developing now, what are prices like?
So the prices, I mean, they've gone up a lot. So when you go into like the newer master plan communities, you have builders like D.R. Horton or Pulte, and you can get a smaller house for maybe 450,000. Lennar is building here, and you can definitely get a house for 450 with them because there's spec homes, right? But if you're getting into, more of the like a Mastercraft, I don't know if you know Toll Brothers, I'm sure you know. Then you're looking into the higher price points. Those are going to be the higher price points, like 800 to over $1 million.
So why do people move to St. Augustine?
Schools.
The school,
Well,
yeah.
The school districts, the families are coming here for the school districts. It's a very good school district.
So do you see a higher number of families moving? Because obviously we have a mix as well and lots of different age ranges. But originally, Sarasota was known for its retirees, empty nesters, snowbirds.
Right.
It's shifted. Do you see more families now, or is it a balance, or do you get snowbirds?
I feel like I get more families moving here. There's definitely a mix. I mean, I have people who want to retire here as well. And then the snowbirds, second home market, it's there, but the majority's families. We're in the northwest portion of the county. Those where the best school districts are, and some new schools are being built, and that's where all the master plan communities are. And they seem to want that because they want to be able to let their kids kind of go out, go biking, and do all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then further south in the county, you have some older, more established neighborhoods, and that's mostly locals. That's where all the people who've kind of grown up here. That's something that's also very different in St. Augustine and Sarasota. Is we have people have lived here for decades. There are generations of families has lived in St. Augustine.
So obviously Sarasota and Manatee counties are located here on the Gulf, and you are on the Atlantic Ocean. How far are you how long does it take to get to the beach, and what is your beachfront like?
So it depends on where you're at, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I always tell people when they're looking for a home here, because you could be in St. Augustine and be out in World Golf Village, but you're not close to the beach. You're probably looking at a 35 to 40-minute drive to the beach, right?
Yeah.
So I'm, only 8 minutes to the drive to the beach, but that's to the Volano Beach. So we have an inlet. which is, really important when you're on the ocean, is to have access to an inlet. And so we've got a few beaches. So, and I actually literally just posted a video today about the best beaches and why. Literally just went live on that one. So that's kind of funny. But anyway, so St. Johns County runs from Ponte Vedra Beach from the north all the way down to Crescent Beach. And then you have the inlet in between. So it's kind of broken up there. So Ponte Vedra Beach down to Volano Beach is going to be the northern beaches. And then Anastasia State Park, which is on Anastasia Island, all the way down to Crescent Beach is going to be the south beaches. And the sand is different. Everything's a little different about them. And the access is very different. So when you're in the north beaches, it seems the north beaches, I think there's not much of a beach at high tide. It's probably due to the currents and whatever it is, but there's not a lot of beach at high tide. So it's definitely not, it's only a good walking beach at low tide. The sand is coarser. It's really great for shark teeth, finding shark teeth and stuff. And then you go south to Anastasia State Park, and now you've got like that white kind of powdery, it's kind of the sand that you're used to, maybe not as white, but that powdery sand. And the beach is gorgeous. I love Anastasia State Park. It's a great beach. And then you get down into St. Augustine Beach, the city of St. Augustine Beach. And then just south, actually starting from A Street, you can drive on the beach there. So that's probably a bit different than Sarasota too, because I don't know if you can drive on the beaches there. But driving on is great because you have miles and miles of beach and you could just drive. You never have an issue parking because you drive on. It's $50 a year and you drive on and you just keep driving south until you find a spot. You kind of park to the right and then you just take all your stuff and set up camp for the day. So it's nice to have those options. So when people are looking for beach, like if they really love the beach, I try to keep them focused on, okay, well, what kind of beach do you like? Do you like to just go for a walk in the morning? Do you want to spend the day? Because my whole thing is, how far are you willing to drive to the beach? Because if you want to be out in the northwest portion of the county, you're going to have to drive quite a bit to get to those drive-on beaches. So, because those are south, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have the inlet, which is great, and Porpoise Point's there. So then you have Volano Beach, and that wraps around to Porpoise Point. And depending on, what Mother Nature has decided, you can drive on the beach there too. But sometimes Mother Nature takes the beach away sometimes. So there's no access to drive on, but that's probably that's my main beach. I love it over there.
So you did say that you were recently in our area and that it feels very different. So firsthand account, tell us a little bit of what is the difference between the two.
Well, I'm driving in and I'm just starting to see these like tall buildings. So we don't have, I think the max height, because of Flagler, we're the oldest city in the country, right? Yeah. And because of all the skylines, the Flagler buildings, I mean, they're beautiful. It's beautiful architecture and they don't want to affect that skyline. So the max height on any building is 35 feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so not very tall, right? And so when I'm coming in there, I'm starting to see and a lot of new construction, like buildings I'm seeing in Sarasota. And again, I don't quite know where I was because I was heading to Longboat Key. Yeah, but I'm just seeing all these tall buildings. I'm seeing sort of like a Main Street kind of over there. And then we're driving through Lido, I want to say, and there's a Ferrari day happening. I'm like, when I say it couldn't be more different than St. Augustine, I'm not kidding. Like this reminded me a little bit of, like if I was to compare it to the East Coast, I would say a little bit of like a Las Olas and Lauderdale and, a little bit of Miami and then some Delray and some like a mix of all those kind of south. It's really interesting. But very different than St. Augustine. Like we don't have that at all. So the tall buildings really surprised me because I didn't expect that. Even though I've seen some footage online, I just thought it was just, okay, it looks big, but it's probably pretty small. It's probably just like a little main drag and then there's water. And I thought that was it. And then you went on to these islands and then these like cool little restaurants and then another little kind of beachy Main Street and then the resorts. Everything felt very resorty, like very vacation like,
I think it's a small, big city. Like it's not Tampa, Orlando.
No.
Miami and stuff. And so when I think of our downtown, I'm like, it's a really cute little downtown. Yeah, we have a couple buildings 19 floors is the highest you can go. But this is like, I would like, it's no big deal.
Well, have you been to St. Augustine?
No.
Yeah, I mean, St. Augustine feels like, I always say it feels like a small, I mean, I'm from New York originally, so that's a big city, obviously. So it feels like a small, like a New England town to me. It's like kind of very quaint and charming, very quaint.
That's why people have to come here and explore, because somebody's like, oh, I've read about St. Augustine being this beautiful city, the oldest city, in the United States. And then you hear about, Sarasota being the best place to retire, or one of the top 10 places to retire. And they all sound good online, right?
They do, yes.
And then you have to start visiting and comparing them. Like, what do you want?
Right.
What do you really want, and what is important? And by far, school district, I know, I hear it all the time, St. Johns County, that's where the best school districts in Florida. Yeah. But Sarasota County, I think, ranks number 2 in the state.
Yeah, you're up there, and I think that's why people are looking at both.
Yeah,
and they might prefer. I mean, I don't know how much you have in master plan communities, but that's mainly what's being built. And you have a lot of young families moving into those communities.
It's a mix. It's really, you probably get more young families than we do, but I think that's changing a little bit, specifically towards Lakewood Ranch. I think we're getting more. Sarasota does tend to skew a little bit older demographics.
We have a new school that opened up in the World Golf Village area, because a lot of, we were getting so many new residents into some of these newer communities, and they were all going to this one high school. So they were getting overloaded. So they built the new school, and that opened up last year, which was great. And there's more schools coming, though. So they have more schools coming, and they're even building more hospitals because they have to, because we really don't have enough as far as, medical services here. So there's a lot of growth. There's definitely a lot of growth, and there's more to come. In this whole in St. Johns County, as far as like St. Augustine goes, there's only so much it can grow because it's old, and there's a lot of, established neighborhoods around there. So you have lots here and there you can build on, but you don't find, like, a lot of people want that. I want the master plan communities, but I want to bike to the beach. And I'm like, that's not happening.
That's like, you can't have new and the beach without spending millions of dollars.
Yeah. So I would say one of the most popular neighborhoods is Nocatee. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so that is a really interesting community. It's a beautiful master plan community, and they're pretty much almost done. They have, I think, 2 more small developments within that community, but they have I think 5 pools and water parks and all that there. But they're really in a good location because they're right across the intercoastal from Ponte Vedra Beach. And so the closest beach is Michler's, which is great. And that's maybe a 15-minute drive, depending on where you are, because Nocatee is kind of long, running north to south. But what's kind of cool about that community is 60% of it was left as kind of conservation land. So they've got, the green, I think they call it the Greenway. So you can take your golf cart, bike, run. They have a boat ramp to the intercoastal, which is really cool. It's a very, very natural feeling, even though it's a master plan community, it did focus a lot on nature there. So that's probably one of the most popular neighborhoods people want to live in, but the prices have gone up a lot there. So, to get a house, you're probably looking at a minimum of, I would say, for like a sizable home for a family, you're probably looking at $800,000 minimum. Yeah. And, a lot of people came here, with a price point of $550,000, $650,000, in 2020. And then everything shot up from there. Yeah. So that's been a bit difficult. Yeah. And then the median average price in St. Johns County right now is $550,000, which is, it kind of just been level. It decreased a little bit. It kind of went kind of up a little bit and then came back down again, because we're back to kind of where we were in June.
So we're known here as the Cultural Coast. We have a lot of theater, arts, do you have that? Where's the closest?
Yeah, there's a big art community here, and it has been for a long time. So we have, Friday night art walk. Do you do that first Friday?
There's different things throughout this area. First Fridays, third Fridays.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. So the first Friday, and it's mainly just downtown. They would try to kind of extend it to the beach area, But the downtown area is just walkable, so that's where that takes place. But yeah, we have art, we have a theater, we have one theater, and the Limelight, and then we've got open mic nights and comedy nights, and there's just a lot that goes on here, so there's always something to do. So yeah, lots of restaurants, So
Yeah.
do you have mainly your when you say you kind of like even your art, your galleries, are they mainly in the city area of Sarasota?
Yeah, we have a lot downtown. I mean, first of all, we have 8, 9, 10 different theaters that you can
Oh,
go to
wow.
throughout. And we have the Ringling Museum, which is not far from downtown. They are changing things though, as like Moat Marine Aquatic or Aquarium is now being built out by Interstate 75 off of University Parkway, closer to Lakewood Ranch and area. They're building more theater out there. We are expanding east because that's where our land is, obviously. And so for us in Sarasota, Manatee County, we're a 2-county area region. And it's over 1 million people in those 2 counties now. So it's expansive. Like you're saying, you can drive 30, 40 minutes from tip to tip if depending where you're going and what part you live in, for sure. It's funny, you're talking about the average price. Our average price is in the 600s. So it's not so much more. I mean, like, I think people are always curious. I think, it's high. I think everyone thinks our prices are high. I remember selling when the average was like 350 and now it's 650. So of course it feels high. But like you were saying, it's leveled off and getting better. But I think both of our cities are very well known and have a lot of pros, why people are moving there.
Yeah. I think St. Augustine, just in the past few years, a lot of people didn't know about it. So I think that they found it though, and because it made so many lists.
Yes.
I think they found it, and that has created a big influx of people coming here, even tourism. Like, I don't know how your tourism is, but ours is basically year round now. It used to just be sort of in the spring break, and you get the summer, people would only be at the beach, and then downtown would be quiet. But now it seems like it's all year. I think we get a break during hurricane season.
Yeah. Say that's very true. I remember even when I first moved here, and that it felt like it slowed down a little bit, but now it's pretty, since the pandemic in 2020 through now. I mean, yes, the traffic isn't as bad as, during high season, but there's always people here. There's always people visiting.
So you probably always had some traffic though, because I just could see even driving in there and just trying to get from one island to the next island and all of that. Obviously, with especially when you have your condo buildings are even taller than ours. I think the max, we have one tall condo building sort of in the city, like St. Augustine Beach area, a little couple more further south, but mainly they're older kind of condo buildings, maybe 3 floors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're not, the majority are that. So you don't have those kind of big condo buildings it's also just, it holds a lot of people and a lot of cars. So I could see where you would have more.
Yeah. And we are getting a lot of, 10-story, 11-story, 12-story, depending on where it's located. And our downtown, like you said, our skyline has changed a lot in the last decade.
Yeah.
Now we get a lot of people, they always say that Midwest, like Michigan, Ohio, you're coming down Interstate 75. And so we get a lot of people from the Midwest. And I was told that, coming down 95, you get more Northerners. Yeah. Now, personally, I get people from all over.
Me too. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting people from California.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends. But a lot of them, and I don't know how it is with you, but a lot of them that call have never been here.
Yeah.
So they have to, I'm always interested to see, well, what do you think? Because I know looking at something online seems like, oh, this is going to be amazing. But then you come here, it's like, oh, much smaller than I thought it was going to be. Or, you know what I mean? Just, being an older city, we've got kind of older areas around the main city area that, they're like smaller homes.
Yeah.
They've been around forever. So it just might not be what they expected it to be, but
Yeah, I make that comment a lot of times. We're older than you would expect us to be. And you're obviously,
right.
an older city, but I think people are surprised by the amount of 1950s ranch style homes that
Yes.
you might find.
Yes. But we
And
even go older than that. Like we have a lot, like I love the mid-century modern type homes, and we have a lot of that kind of around the downtown area. But if you go downtown, you're looking at a lot of older homes. I mean, you can find homes from early 1900.
what is the one defining feature or thing you love the most about St. Augustine?
The ocean. I think you're either a Gulf or an ocean person, and I'm an ocean person. So I don't know if I could, like, I like the Gulf, but I'm a sailor. So I I don't know, there's something about the ocean for me. So that there's just something about it. So I think that's ultimately people, they don't like, they're either Gulf people or they're ocean people. And that could be a deciding factor for people. Sarasota had a huge bay, so which was amazing. I think the boating would be amazing. But since I'm a boater, I always ask about that sort of thing. It just looks so cool compared to what I have here for my boat specifically. Like especially coming from the Northeast, like New England has so many little places you can go anchor and do all these, spend a weekend. Where Sarasota has more options for boating, I would say, in one area to like go from Anchorage, like different little anchorages and visit different areas where we're sort of limited. We have the Bahamas, we can get to the Bahamas a little quicker, right? And just kind of go down the coast and do some, so that's really good for me. But in general, that's what really looked cool to me in Sarasota, just seeing like the little sailboats out, like the little sail races going on and all the stuff I was used to seeing up in New England that I don't see as much here because we don't have that big bay like Sarasota has. So that's one. Yeah. So it looks very boater friendly. It's nice. So we have the intercoastal waterway too. So we have all the boats that kind of come from the north to the south to north on the seasons to, for the winter and all of that. And they're all heading south now. But you do have a bit of an intercoastal there, I was told.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which I didn't really know, but I think it's pretty shallow. So
yeah, it's not probably like the East Coast.
No, it's not. No, not at all. But it is interesting that there is a safe, like if you have a shallow draft, there's a safer passage if a storm comes. So it's kind of cool. It was really just neat to see because it was so different. It's so different than St. Augustine, But,
so like we say, every city is different. You have to come. You have to check it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even like checking out multiple cities. Sometimes it's just checking out multiple neighborhoods in our respective cities because they are all different.
They are.
I truly believe you feel it.
All in all, very different place, great place. I started to really think, maybe I should buy something here. I do have a question for you though. Vacation rentals. Do you have a lot of restrictions there for vacation rentals or is it pretty open?
No, we have a lot of restrictions.
Okay. So it just depends on where.
Yes. First of all, each build, like if it's a condo building, they can pretty much set their own, whether it's 30 night minimum or 6 month minimum, or if you have to own for so many years before you can lease it out. I mean, per county guidelines, it's 30-day minimum everywhere in the county. But then there's going to be outliers where, they may have changed depending on the HOA, they may have changed that. But people ask all the time, like, I want to buy a house. I want to live there 2-3 weeks out of the year and I'll rent it out the rest of the time. It's not that easy.
No, it's not. I know. So we have the restrictions downtown. They put in restrictions because it's a really nice kind of front porch neighborhood, Lincolnville and St. Augustine. So the city district had changed it to a 1 rental per 7-day period. Yeah. So you didn't have these influx of people coming every, 2 days, 1 day, whatever it was. So they put that restriction in and you have to have, your permits and your parking for the street if you don't have a driveway. And then the city of St. Augustine Beach, obviously the condos have their own rules. Most of them are 3-night minimum, which is great.
Oh my gosh. We
Yeah.
don't have anything like that.
Oh, really? Oh, God, which is great though, because if you want to be right on the beach and not be in a hotel, but have like a little kitchen and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the city of St. Augustine Beach, because you have a house, if you have a single family home, they only have so many vacation rentals allowed. So there's a wait list.
Oh.
And I think it's the last time I checked, it was 3-year wait list,
Oh
unless
my
you
gosh.
buy a home that already has the vacation rental license. So we live in paradise.
I know people, I get asked all the time, do you like living there? And I'm like, yes. Like, what's there? I don't know what to complain about.
There's
Like,
nothing to complain about. And I
yeah.
remember when I wanted to move, make it a permanent move. It is, especially a few years ago, it was like a utopia of a place, and then obviously things change with,
Yeah.
COVID and the restrictions and all that, but because now it's just gotten really crowded, but that's okay. I mean, New York is more crowded.
I think this is great. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me on this call and to explain the differences. Hopefully, people get some good information out of this and can compare it. And as always, you guys, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, give us a call or give Kim a call, and we are here to help.
Thanks. See ya.